Hi, my name's Analisa, and I'm a chemical engineer, and I work a lot in the water sector, working with government and with water utilities in providing safe water and sanitation services to our communities. I always had a lot of energy and loved bouncing around, looking at had a whole range of things on my plate. I, however, was not diagnosed as having ADHD until my mid-40s. And I went and sought a diagnosis then because by then I'd had two boys and they were diagnosed with autism. And in understanding what their conditions were and how it helped in working with them, I then sought a diagnosis myself. I wasn't diagnosed as being dyslexic until last year, so in my 50s. And that has been, again, a very interesting experience for me to understand the lived experience that I've had. It's been interesting to recognize or to be able to reinterpret. Start that again. When I got my diagnosis, it allowed me to reinterpret a lot of my earlier educational experiences. So I had never got a spelling test right in school. Things like I always have difficulties with my right and my left. And so it was very helpful to suddenly get a lot of that in context. And while I developed a range of techniques to help me overcome it, getting a diagnosis has been very helpful for me to understand why my brain works so differently to other people. There are ways where it's not the diagnosis. There's the trying to think what I'm trying to say. There are strengths that come from. Yeah. I'm trying to think what I'm trying to say with that. It's fine. It can be easy to talk about what the deficits are with ADHD and with dyslexia. There are strengths that come with it, and sometimes for people who have those areas of neurodiversity, they may not recognise what those strengths are. And I know for me, it was only when I was on a very immersive leadership course that people called out my energy as a strength. And I think that is something that my ADHD gives me. I think through my dyslexia and the way I've always chunked what I've read, that has helped me to be able to interpolate information, which can be quite useful in my work, so that I am able to come up with a number of possibilities for situations or outcomes that other people may not think of. So while it has been really challenging, and looking back on the difficulties that I've had, I think the techniques that I've used have still then given me a different way of looking at the world. I think things like Dyslexia Awareness Month and is it ADHD Awareness Month? Yeah. I think things like I think having disability. Let that go again. Yes. Yeah. And I'm trying not to think too much. It's like, I think. Dyslexia Awareness Month and ADHD Awareness Month are really important in highlighting for both people who have the lived experiences, people who are not yet diagnosed but may have an awareness that they might want to seek a diagnosis, and also for people who are around them to understand what the strengths and how they can support people who have dyslexia and ADHD. One last thing I'd like to say. I'm just trying to think what else. I haven't really thought about a call to action. Yeah. Yes. So maybe it is, I think what is important when we talk about these conditions across the breadth of neurodiversity and across disability as well, is the challenge that we all face in creating inclusive spaces. Because what is inclusive for one person may actually exclude another person. And so it's important that we try to build environments and spaces, both physically and online, that work across the whole domain for people. So people hard of hearing can like subtitles, but for people who are dyslexic, reading may be more difficult. So there is that challenge in how we build inclusive spaces that encompass the breadth of disability and neurodiversity. I hope that can be chopped up enough.